Hello, my name is Cal Wodrowski and this is Shelly, and in this lesson we are going to show you how you can do double and triple his and her free turns. In an earlier lesson we taught what I called the dual free spin, dual as in both turning at the same time, and we showed how you just signal, you let the lady do a free turn, and gentlemen, you turn at the same time. With this, what we're going to show is for people who are advanced enough and comfortable enough, you can do 2 turns together, or you can do 3. Now, of course, if you're doing 2 and 3, you do want to watch that you've got enough room, so you're not sending the lady and yourself off into a bunch of people or the side rail or something. When we taught the ladies double free spin, I explained that the way that I signal a lady is typically by squeezing her hand twice, and I normally do it on the 3-4. So this is just a brief review of what we taught before with the ladies double free spin. It goes like this: 1, 2, squeeze, squeeze, signal, send her off, do your extra footwork, and that's it. That's the ladies double free spin. I also mentioned in that lesson that if you're dancing this dance with a lady who has not done this dance a lot, if you simply squeeze her hand, it's not unusual at all for you to squeeze her hand and her just to do 1 turn because she doesn't know what that means or she didn't feel it. So if you're dancing with somebody and you don't know that they're going to know what the 2 squeezes is, then what I do is I say or mouth the word 2 at the same time. And by the way, just a moment ago when Shelly and I did that, I let you know when I squeeze by saying 1, 2, squeeze, squeeze. I don't ever say squeeze, squeeze. I just squeeze twice on that 3-4 so that then she's got time to process that. I send her off. She typically, and Shelly would do it every time because she's just comfortable. She knows what that squeezing is. If you're holding both hands to do any of these double or triple turns, it's good to squeeze both hands because then she'll really feel it. So if I was going to do a double free spin for the lady, I would squeeze both hands here, squeeze, squeeze, and then send her off. She's almost definitely going to feel that. But again, as I just mentioned, if she's new to the dance or possibly new to that, you might say 2, just say the word 2 or mouth the word 2 at the same time you're squeezing to send her off. Now, coming up to where we're at for this lesson, doing the his and her double free spin, the same thing applies. You're going to signal her at the same time on the 3-4. You're going to squeeze her hands, 1 or both of them, twice. And if she's not real familiar, you're going to say 2. The difference is you send her off, and at the same time, you simply turn. That's that simple. So let's go ahead and do it once. We'll touch on 1 or 2 other points, and then we'll cover a couple points for a triple turn if you want to do that. So I'm going to explain to you what I'm doing, and we're going to do the his and her double free spin. Ready, 1, 2, squeeze, squeeze. I would probably say 2. If she's not real familiar with it, we would both do 2 turns. We would come back together just like that. Okay, so if you want to do the triple his and her free turn, a couple things I want to mention is, first, I would only recommend doing it with a lady, as we've talked about before, that you have reason to believe is comfortable doing 3 turns, wants to do 3 turns, and can do 3 turns. You also want to watch that you've got room on the dance floor so you're not sending you and your partner into other people or into a side rail or a wall or something. So keep those things in mind. Also, when you're doing a triple free spin, I do not believe it would be reasonable to just simply squeeze the hands 3 times and then send the lady off. Whether you're going to send her off into her own free spins or you're going to do the his and her where you turn at the same time. I just putting myself in the lady's position, I believe that would be too confusing. Wait, how many was that? Was that 2, 3, or 4? So a little rule that I have, if I'm ever doing more than 2, I virtually always say or mouth the word 3. Even with somebody like Shelly that I've danced with a lot, or other dance partners I've done a lot of dancing with, I never just squeeze 3 times. I don't think it makes sense to do that. So again, when I do this, we're gonna signal when we're at about the 3-4. I'm going to say or mouth the word 3, then I'm going to signal her the same way, and then as I set her free, I'm going to turn with her. You want to be aware as you're doing dual turns, especially if they're double or triple, that it's a little easier for you to kind of veer away from each other or to run into each other, but I don't know that there's really any secret to that. I think it's just doing it and hope you don't crash into each other, and if you do it a couple times, it'll work out. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to do the triple now. I'm going to squeeze her hands, and by the way, when I'm squeezing her hands, I normally squeeze, I don't even know, 3-4 times. I don't count it because I mainly want her to feel a bunch of squeezes, but she's going to see me, more than anything, she's going to see me say the word 3. She might hear me, but she's going to see me say while she's feeling these squeezes. So let's go ahead and do that once, Shelley. Here we go. 3. Just like that. Very good. By the way, one thing that's kind of fun to do, and I mentioned this in the original series, but sometimes it's fun if you're dancing with a lady. You can be dancing along, and you can just send her into a single turn, and then a little while later, you could do 2 and send her off into 2 turns. And then maybe a little bit later you could be dancing, and you can maybe even do the triple, his and her, like 3. And so then you're dancing along, and what can be kind of fun is then what you do is you're dancing along, and then you squeeze her hands a whole bunch of times, and you go 13. And they usually either laugh or something, but that can be kind of fun to do. So I think that's pretty much covers it. It's kind of simple. I think the most important thing is you're doing it with somebody that's interested and comfortable doing 3 turns. You'd be a little careful you don't run into each other, but there's not a whole lot you can do. You just got to try it a few times. But I rarely run into people, and rarely do we get a big separation. I think what might happen a little bit is you're doing it, when you're turning sort of subconsciously, you kind of see each other and you kind of auto-correct a little bit, but it usually works out. Okay, well that's pretty much it as far as the double and the triple, his and her turn. I think what we'll do to close out the lesson, we're going to do a little bit of a dance demo in case you want to see us do it to music. But that's just a little bit of a way to elevate your dancing a little bit, using primarily what we've taught in previous lessons, putting it together and stepping it up a notch for people that want to do that. So we sure appreciate your watching, and we'll see you in the next lesson.